It's that time again! Thanks for tuning in! I'm your host, the Joker. Harley! Harley! You see? Let's get to know our legendary contestants.
Welcome to DCUO Legend Spotlight. My name is Jemmy, and today's legend will be centered around the Yellow Lantern, Arkillo. So let's just throw in an analogy here. If Kilowog is to Green Lantern, then Arkillo would be to the Yellow Lanterns, or the Sinestro Corps, whichever. In that Kilowog of the Green Lantern Corps and Arkillo are very, very similar. They play the same roles as being drill sergeants for their relating corps. And so they very much mirror each other. Arkillo was quickly recruited by Sinestro due to his ability to instill fear. Gaining in the ranks, he fulfilled the roles as a recruiter, trainer, as well as the officer in charge of overseeing the creation of the Yellow Rings. Arkillo is also known to be a savage carnivore and a ruthless trainer. By the way, sorry guys about not having a spinning character that I usually have. For some reason in-game his head was cut off, so he's basically decapitated because his size was so big. So I'm thinking that was probably not supposed to be that way. But yeah, we work with what we got, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and look at what he can do within the arena. So I'm pretty sure you guys know this part. Arkillo is a Yellow Lantern, and like I said, all the lanterns are able to have the movement type of flight because they use their rings. For his weapon type in the arenas, Arkillo uses Brawling, and I believe that is the full Brawling set. But just to make sure, you could go ahead and check your action menu to check all of the combos and just review them. Kilowog and Arkillo both basically fill the same roles within their respective corps. Now, I think that leads to them having similarities in their capable skills, and that seems to reflect in their loadout as well. The first skill on Arkillo's loadout is Construct Jackhammer, which is the same mechanics as Kilowog's Jackhammer as well. The initial use of Jackhammer actually knocks back your enemies, but it can be comboed by repeatedly tapping the melee button. And each time you tap that melee button, it will consume additional power until your entire power bar is drained. Now for Construct Jackhammer, the initial execution of the skill is safe to use against blocking targets. However, the combo is vulnerable to blocking targets. So if you do see your enemy blocking, then maybe it's not a wise choice to use the combo because you'll just end up being knocked back. The skill is also an AoE around Arkillo, knocking back and damaging all enemies around him. The next skill on his loadout bar is called Saw Throw, where he just throws a saw at his opponent, knocking them back and dealing some damage. The skill is safe to use against blocking targets, but the knockback effect will not apply. Against groups, Saw Throw is basically kind of like the same thing as what we've seen a lot of the other Lantern ones were. It's kind of like this chain reaction thing where it could, if they're kind of like close together, they might link and affect more than one person. As you saw that the goon behind Two-Face got affected by the Saw Throw as well. And so here you see that the goon in front also got damaged. And here's also another nice representation of that. We saw Two-Face targeted and the goon behind him got knocked back and damaged as well by the Saw Throw. Arkillo's next skill is called Spike Clap, where he forms, I guess, two spike walls and basically impales his target with them, stunning them in the process and also, of course, dealing damage. It's very reminiscent of Kilowog's Construct Clap, but a little bit more aggressive in the animation. Spike Clap is safe to use against blocking targets, but the stunning effect will not apply. Against groups, Spike Clap is a raised skill and it affects the first enemy that gets in contact with that skill. So you see here we have targeted Two-Face, but his goon was the one that was affected by the Spike Clap. The next skill is called Ring Beam, where he beams a orb kind of thing out of his ring that knocks back his enemies while dealing damage. Now this skill is safe to use against blocking targets, however it is vulnerable to lunges. Ring Beam is also a Conus AoE, stunning all the targets that are in front of Arkillo and damaging them. Arkillo's fifth skill is the exact same skill with Kilowog called Battle Roar, where he literally just roars and knocks back his enemies while damaging them. Now this skill is vulnerable to being lunged, but it is safe to use against blocking targets. To elaborate more on this lunge, it is a very small window of vulnerability, I guess I would say, because if you use it on a single target, that single target will be experiencing the knockback effect, and it's kind of hard to break out in time to come back and lunge you within that window. So it's a little bit difficult, so you might get away with it and, you know, be safe and not get knocked back from being countered. But the only way it seems is that if your opponent has really good timing, or if they use a breakout trinket or have immunity. So here is exactly what I'm talking about. By the time Two-Face broke out, it was already too late to counter me. Now if Two-Face already had an immunity on, as seen here, he is just able to lunge me right off the bat after I use Battle Roar because he's not being influenced by that knockback. This skill is also a Conus AoE, affecting all enemies in front of Arkillo, knocking them back and dealing damage for the duration of the animation. The last skill on Arkillo's loadout is Swoop Attack that we've seen multiple times already with all the other lanterns. It is a skill that knocks back your enemies while dealing damage. It is safe to use against blocking targets, but the knockback effect will not occur. Against groups, Swoop Attack is a Conus AoE that will knock back all nearby enemies in front of Arkillo. So that was a rundown of Arkillo. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing his loadout. It was very similar to Kilowog's. If there is a difference between Kilowog and Arkillo, the difference is very, very small. So if you are good at using Kilowog, then you could actually be very good at using Arkillo, I would think. Now, if you are interested in playing Arkillo in your Legends Arena matches, you could go ahead and purchase him in the game with Marks of Legend and a little bit of in-game cash. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you missed the Kilowog spotlight, I'll go ahead and leave that link in the center right here for you. If you would like to stay updated with all the latest videos that we post right when we post them, you could go ahead and subscribe with a link on top as well. Stay connected with me via Facebook and Twitter and much more social media outlets with all the convenient links listed in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye bye!